Hello, people watching things on the internet. Welcome to this. A pop-up headlight, which belongs to my 1982 Toyota Celica Supra, which I am doing a little mini build series on for one of you to get the chance to enter and win. The link is in the video description below. And without further ado, it's time for me to get back to work. If you recall where I last left off, I was addressing a couple little paint issues this car had. And being that a lot of it is still the original factory paint, I wanted to preserve what I could and fix the areas that someone had already repainted at one point in time in this car's life. Which, judging from the fact that this car spent the vast majority of its life in Arizona with a small stint in Southern California, I believe the issue the car experienced on the back half was paint fade from being parked in the direction of the sun. That sucks. Also, fun fact, the original owner of this car, he was a retired engineer, he named it Frog, and I can see why. It looks like a mouth and an eyeball with the grill out. Now the tricky part. See if I can remove the Celica Supra emblem without breaking it. Also, the little headlight whiskers. These things, I got new ones. Oh, these things are so deteriorated. These aren't coming out easy. It's alright, I'm replacing them. The corner one came out. So I soaked the back side of the emblem in a little bit of plastic interior cleaner. Soften the plastic up. And I use a tiny socket and try to push the tabs down. Just like that. I think that worked. Yep. Look at that. Perfect. And that is how you remove a 40-year-old plastic emblem without breaking it. Literally every single one of these emblems you see on eBay for sale for like $100 used, the tabs are busted off the backside because someone didn't do this. Ooh, geez, this is dusty. There. So I'm actually really glad that I'm pulling this off to paint it. Look how chipped up the lower half of this front bumper was. It just, I don't know. It's the right thing to do, along with that little sail panel that goes above it. Judging by what I can see inside these little rock chips right here, and the fact that there's no harsh line anywhere, I'm 99.9% positive that this is the original paint on the hood, front fenders, front bumper, whole nose of the car is all original. All right, here goes nothing. Time to make this thing sandable. Two days later, all of the areas on the rear hatch that had paint issues, I did off camera because I know how you guys feel about watching body work. And I just figured that was the most time efficient way for me to get it done. I was also able to get a haircut in that amount of time too because I multitask well under pressure. In body shop terms, essentially what I'm doing here is called a scuff and shoot, with the exception of the hatch where I had to do physical body work. So now that everything has been done in 500 grit, which will give mechanical adhesion for the new paint to bond to, I have to go over all the edges with a red Scotch-Brite. Red Scotch-Brites are 320 to 360 grit depending on the brand that you use. Basically, I just gotta knock down any areas where you see shinies, just the glossy spots. This is the #1 area I feel a lot of rushed paint jobs skip out on, and that's where you start having the paint failing on the edges and peeling and flaking off because this wasn't done. A good way to check your work after is to just use some wax and grease remover. And this also, while it's glossy, will get you an idea what it'll look like when it's got paint on it. See if there's any areas you need to sand more. I could take the lazy approach and not do this, but my OCD will not allow me to. There. That was easy. This is called Scuff Stuff. Not sponsored, I just stole it from Fred next door. It's essentially coffee for robots. That actually smells good. I'm gonna share some of my drinking water with the bumper. Get a little bit on my red scotch everywhere. So these areas down here at the bottom of the bumper cover, I had a feeling they would be just caked full of years of dirt. Yeah, look at it all coming off. So not only do I need to scuff it so paint will adhere, I also need to make sure it's super clean, and this is knocking out both at the same time. Geez, compressed air doesn't really do a whole lot. Wax and grease, round number 1 of 25. Wipe, wipe, wipe. All day long. Hopefully not. It is so hot out there. I wasn't satisfied with just good enough, so I wanted to wash it because I don't want dirt nibs. Plastic. Paint this side. Where's this? How do I separate you? Where is the separation? How is this possible right now? There's some sorcery going on with this plastic. It's supposed to separate. The booth availability next door is extremely limited right now, so I absolutely have to have this car prepped and ready tonight so I can shoot it tomorrow morning. So I need this cut out. I don't know how I'm gonna do that though. Cut out just this. Well, this is not the shape I wanted it to be. Something like this. In theory, this is going to work. In application, I have no idea. Like that. Ha. Pull this rubber up. Haha, genius. Absolutely genius. This isn't as easy as I thought it would be. Success. Nobody is ever gonna see underneath here, but I still don't want a weird tape line. I doubt this was done when they painted this car before, but I don't care. It's the right thing to do, so. Wire, 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 wire. So this right here is about 8 gauge, I'd say. It doesn't say. And I have a trick that Fred taught me. What I do is I shove this wire underneath the edge of the rubber weather stripping. Having nails is coming in super handy right now. And see how it's creating this nice gap? It's lifting the rubber away from the paint. Well, it'd be just enough to blow the paint up underneath there so you won't have a harsh edge. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough wire to do the whole window. That's the only downside. Now that I have that gap, I'm gonna give one last scuff again in that area, just because I can get to it a little better. There's little bits of black paint flaking off the rubber from the last time this was painted because somebody didn't do this. Wax and grease application number 673. Oh yeah, that'll look good painted. Now for the next step. So this is a special tape. Notice one side has foil on it. It is designed specifically for this type of situation where I need to do a soft edge underneath rubber molding. Oh, it's clear. I thought it was silver. It has this little plastic scraper right here that's gonna go in the seam, and then this tapes it onto itself. Allow me to demonstrate. Stick it underneath there when inserted properly. This is kind of hard because I have the wire in there. To lift weather stripping. So I do that. So that plastic wedges under the rubber, and then as you pull the tape, it lifts the rubber so you get that nice soft edge for the paint to just blow under the rubber stripping. I essentially went overboard by shoving the wire under there. One or the other works. It doesn't really matter though. That wire is so far up underneath there, it's crazy. This is the correct way to do it if you're not going to take the glass out. It doesn't get much better than this. Wax and grease application number 17,912. There is one final step that must take place before this can be painted. So areas like this in the front bumper where it's just raw yellow plastic, this front little panel where you got some bare metal, and the areas where there's a little bit of filler and primer from the little corrosion spots.
Overspray on that, overspray on that, overspray on this, the seats, the bike.
Oh no. Yep, I've turned my shop into a paint booth with the Celica in here, the Ranger, and the MR2. I love that this is black. Hot in there. Hello, it's the following morning, it's paint day. It's about 100 degrees in here and 40 or so % humidity. Oh, my apologies, 101 degrees and well, like 42% humidity. So it's still cool out, at least, that's a plus. I spent the morning prepping in here, getting everything all taped off. Before I begin, I'm gonna use the anti-static gun on everything just to help with any dust that may be accumulated. Now, in place of using a tack cloth, I'm just gonna go over with compressed air and a little bit of wax and grease on microfiber, and this for me works a lot better. I've already given this a good shake. So I'm using some Limco single stage, same as what's on the car, single stage. Give it a good stir. So I'm gonna do it a 4:1 ratio. Probably do 2 cups just so I have extra. I'm only doing a couple little panels, so. Slow reducer, 80 degrees plus Fahrenheit. That's like winter weather right there. Really hope I don't screw any of this up because Fred's not here today to ask questions to. Should be good right there. Now I gotta add my hardener. Okay, hardener's in. Stir, stir, stir. It is really, really hot. I gotta put you guys outside the booth now. All right, here goes nothing. Ooh, that's good. I like that so far. Liking that. Okay, time for coat number 2. It is so fucking hot in here. This is ridiculous. I'm like getting dizzy. Time to check on this thing and see how it looks. So it is almost 110 degrees Fahrenheit in here now. It's been about 2 hours or so since I sprayed it. I'm not gonna touch it, but it's likely dry to the touch. And I ended up with a sag on the passenger door. And it was just because it's so hot in here that I was having to get closer and closer to the panel and adjust my speed on the fly. And on my second coat, just going under the door handle area, I got a little bit too slow and ended up with a sag about that long. But other than that, this sprayed out fairly well. I feel like everything back here looks good. It's got about a factory level of orange peel and only very minimal dirt nibs here or there. Same with the back bumper. Pretty happy how this turned out. The bumper had some scratches over here, that's why I wanted to repaint it, and those are all completely gone now. Same with the front bumper. Pretty happy how this turned out. Sail panel, same thing. Pretty happy with how that turned out. So it happened in the second coat. I ended up doing 3 coats since it's a single stage. And looking at it right here, you can't really see it. Most of the door looks great, but if you look right here under the door handle, this is where the sag is. See it right there? It's about, I would say, 4 to 6 inches long, right there. So from like right there to right there, which luckily it's single stage, so I should be able to correct that. I think this is now the 5th vehicle that I have done paint work on in a booth. So I'm still, in terms of spray gun use, fairly novice. It's my second time using single stage. And given the fact that I just painted this thing in essentially an oven, I'm gonna give myself a C plus, because really everything back here looks good. That looks good, that looks good, and most of the door looks good. You probably noticed I didn't paint the side skirts to put those on, and honestly it's because they need probably a good 10 to 20 hours worth of body work to make them fit perfectly on the car, and I just couldn't pull that off myself in this video. It's down to just me doing all this stuff, and Fred's booked out for like the next 6 months, so I can't hire him to do it. I have the wheels and tires for this guy along with the Supra, and the suspension and exhaust for that car is here, so you'll be seeing a little bit of that car and this next. And remember, if you guys want a chance to enter to win the Supra, I think we're down to like about a month left to go. So the link is in the video description below. And thank you for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!